Okay, everyone, I believe it is time for our Ed and Eddie run by sindarkfatez. Take it away, Sindark.
Howdy, y'all. sindarkfatez here, and I'm very excited to show off some Ed and Eddie The Misadventures. All scams. I love this category and I love this game. I do have someone joining him on comms, so I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey everybody, my name is Jaxler. I don't run this game, but I grew up with this game and played it way too much. Like Sindark said, this is a really cool run and category, so I'm here to help explain what the nonsense is going to start happening. So,
But before we do start the run, Cheese, would you like to inform the viewers on what has won the bid war for the Ed head sizes?
Yes, I can do that. The winner for the head sizes is a big head with $80.
yes.
Okay, dang. Keep on donating, y'all.
Thank you so
You're doing
much.
great work so far. Alright, but with that information now, we shall start the run in 3, 2, 1, go. Alrighty, so Ed and Eddie The Misadventures is a 3D action platformer to where you control the 3 Eds. We're going to be, this game's main mechanic are the Ed formations. We're going to be using the batter Ed for the majority of this run just because you move a lot faster and you're pretty much invisible. And now I have to kill this chicken. Oh, this squirrel's going to get me. So I have to kill this chicken so we can get the big head because y'all so kindly donated for that. Let me turn it on now. There we go. Now we have a very big head. Okay, I need to get this cat because we need... Oh my goodness, they're moving fast. So we can activate a cutscene. I'm going to try to line myself up for a little bit of a trick here. See if that lineup works. So hopefully when I'm digging up this costume piece, which are necessary to unlock the bonus scams, I did it correct. So yeah, pretty much I'll be digging up, so I don't have to wait through the animation. And we have to collect 6 costume pieces to unlock the bonus 2 scams. So there's piece number 1.
Yeah, and that's kind of your big difference between this category versus an 80% run is obviously we have to do those 2 extra bonus scam levels, but you also need to find those costume pieces, and because of that, you see strats like that, for example, or have to play the level a different way because of it.
Alright. Need to just throw 3 squirrels into this window. This is the most RNG part of this level. This whole first scam is just all RNG. There's no really big tricks in here besides the costume like get during the cutscene. We got pretty good squirrel RNG, and this could be our last piece of the ice because we need it to get the meatball machine working so we can start making snowballs.
Yeah, we're trying to make snow cones so we can sell them off to the rest of the kids with a cul-de-sac to get cul-de-sacs for jawbreakers. So this game kind of plays like a bunch of like mini episodes of the show, pretty much, where you go around doing shenanigans in order to try to get jawbreakers. So the pigs here are random as well. We're going to be trying to throw them back into the pen as collateral to get Rolf to let us use the machine here. They seem to give you some pretty good spots here.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's like almost like perfect. Alrighty, and that's scam 1 done. That was
Nice.
really good.
So to give you all a little more context on the way kind of the game works, I like to jokingly call this like a licensed version of Sonic Heroes, where you have 3 different characters with different abilities, and depending on who's in the lead will determine what formation move that you use. So for Ed, for example, it lets us do the batter Ed and charge forward, and in this case, we're actually going to swap to Double D to do trample Ed clip for the first time. So whenever you do certain formations, it will put the different Ed characters in predetermined locations based on your angle. So by doing it into that little crevice, we can actually wedge Eddie out of bounds and hit a checkpoint from out of bounds to skip further into the level. And so right there, we take care of that crocodile with the batter Ed invincibility to get through. And then we're going to see a couple of more clips in this section. This is kind of like the first, like, real scam of the game, I would say, in terms of, like, tech. Like, the further into the scams you go, the further the complexity gets with regards to the tech. Oh, that was a little rude. Something worth noting as well is the enemies in this game are notorious for being just, like, real pains in the butt. Right here, we're going to do another trample Ed right here for the kind of intended purpose right here. So in addition to each character having a different formation, they have a different, like, extra ability they can do. So like Ed can like pick things up because he's super strong. Eddie has these stink bombs that are very niche, but in the last scam we'll do, they're actually really helpful. And we're gonna be doing another clip here in a moment. So we're gonna actually take a quick death warp here just to set this up, and we're gonna lure one of these rats over to damage us while we're setting up the trample Ed animation. And if we do it right, we should clip Eddie partially into the wall. So we're gonna take an intentional hit to set up our iframes. This should, unfortunately that time it didn't work, but we're gonna hopefully get Eddie into the wall here a little bit, and then use a formation to try to get the rest of the Eds through. Nicely done, second try's pretty good. And then that gets us to the end of the scam, so that little clip right there skipped a really long puzzle where you would have to like drain the water level so you can access a bunch of different switches. But that gets us to kind of the birthday party we've been trying to crash for this scam, and also the costume piece we'll be getting in a moment here as well.
Yep, we'll be over here. We'll see if we can get a pinata dupe. It's a pretty just rare glitch. I'm not sure how exactly it works. Sometimes it happens, but it does save time if we do hit it. Surely marathon luck? Alright, no. At least we get a jawbreaker. That's all that matters. But the last pinata over here before we get into the canker fight, because they're actually be crashing the party. It's gonna be kind of just, we're just gonna be slingshotting these beehives. I always like to give a, warning. Pretty much any time you check a beehive, make sure there's not a fridge in it. This is maybe where your fridge ran off to. You just simply have to hit 2 of these beehives on Marie. And I'm gonna try to go for a precise beehive here. I think I got it. Yep, she got hit. So now she's gonna stay in that exact spot, so I can just hit her really quick.
Nice. That was a pretty solid scam too.
Yep.
Alright, now we're heading off to Scam 3 now, so we're going to be doing a little movement here. Scam 3 has kind of like 2 parts to it. The idea being that we're going to try to go to the store to get some jawbreakers, but one of the jawbreakers is going to be not quite right. But in this first bit here, we've got like a lot of like little things going on here. So we're going to start with the Batter Ed to try to clear some of these enemies for us. And then go into Tower of Ed, and the Tower of Ed formation kind of lets you reach higher, but also walk on these sort of gangplanks. And then we're going to go for kind of an animation cancel setup here on this sandbox by luring the squirrel over and then digging in the corner. When we take damage, it gives us the costume piece, but cancels that animation. Then we're going to do another trample egg clip the same way we did in the sewers, just like that. This is going to push Ed through instead this time, so that we can get everyone out through the Batter Ed animation and start moving right away. So there is another clip that you could do here in this next section, but I believe Sindark's not going to go for it because it's one of a couple of what are called first-person clips. And not only are they a lot more difficult, they also don't look very good to look at, for lack of a better term, so... yeah, Double D also has that like water balloon slingshot that's really good for hitting stuff from a distance. It can hit enemies too, it's really nice. Then we're going to switch to Ed again, and then we're going to do a little bit more movement here, and there's a little strat there where you can kind of start it there early. And there's supposed to be a puzzle here where you're supposed to kind of wrap around the other side to take care of this lawnmower. But if you put Eddie on top of Double D here in this corner, he can't jump, but there's just barely enough height to allow you to get up and over the ledge, skipping that whole thing, and then we can use a formation to get the rest of the Eds up. So a lot of the skips in this game are kind of like that, where you do a strat to get an Ed somewhere he's not supposed to be, and then you have to figure out how to get the rest of the Eds to line up too. And then this is supposed to be like a mini game with Kevin, but what we can do instead is something called a Batter Ed clip, where if we Batter Ed into a wall, it plays maybe one of the funniest animations in the game, which can clip Double D through that fence. So we're going to do that one right there, and then formation to get the rest of them through. And we're going to do the same thing in another direction to get Double D through the wall again. And then because of the way that the first half of this level works, we only need Double D to get to the end of the level here. So Double D can just go ahead and solo and open the gate for the end of the level, and that'll be the first half of Scam 3. So yeah, as you can kind of see, there's just like a lot going on with this game that, like a bunch of moving parts.
This should work.
This should work.
It should work indeed.
Alright, so Eddie now has the gross disease. We're going to go ahead and jump in this cardboard box and then out. This is going to cause the dog to start rotating, and then we can take a big old damage boost off of him to move a little quicker. the back half of this scam is intended to be more of a stealth thing because Eddie has the cringe disease, so if anyone sees him, he'll die of cringe. But the sort of detection radius for a lot of these characters is really, really bad. So we can kind of abuse it to just kind of walk by. You're intended to turn into Tower of Eddie to hide behind the poles, but we don't need to do that. And so now we're going to just batter Ed. We lured Naz out of the way there by turning on the lunch bell. And that's a really enough, that right there is a really tricky bit of movement. We've been using the batter Ed a lot, but the movement for it and actually getting it to do what you want is pretty tricky. Let's see if we hit this. Nice. So that was another little strat where we threw the can and then walked into the cutscene so that Jimmy starts like run. It's a little cutscene overlap. And then we have a little bit more movement as we make our way towards the end of the scan here. So I guess now would be a good time. Cheese J, if we had any, I was curious, do we have any incentives coming up that we're trying to meet, and how are we doing on those?
Yes, we do have an incentive coming up. We have plenty of incentives for the next run, actually. For the next run, Computer Park, we have, it looks like 2 different name the bug or bid wars, 2 different name the bug bid wars that you could donate for. Just exclamation point donate in the chat, and you could donate for those.
Alright, so that's gonna be the end of Scan 3. Unfortunately, we got busted by Sarah, so we did die of cringe. But this is gonna take us into our first bonus scam. So the way the bonus scams work is, like we said, there's 6 costume pieces. There's 1 in each level of the main scams, and the first 3 that you get unlock the first bonus scam, which is Edzilla. So we're gonna be smashing a lot of buildings with our face. Casually, this part is really, really fun. There's gonna be a little bit of cutscene skipping that we're gonna be doing here as well, but this is a scam that is more enjoyable because of the vibes more than anything. This reminds me specifically of a game I played when I was younger, Creature from the Krusty Krab, where you were, you like had a dream as Plankton, where you like this giant Plankton just like destroying the city, and I'm like, wait, this is the same thing, it's awesome. But that's kind of like the thing with this category, is it's more so that the restriction of having to unlock the 2 bonus scams leads to kind of this interesting scenario where all scams kind of represents what I would say more old school runs of this game's any percent would look like, because the any percent run has gotten a lot of development lately that has led to some pretty ridiculous strats, like one in the next scam called Goat Float, which is ridiculously hard and inconsistent, but it also skips like a lot of the scam. And because you have the sandboxes in the way that you need to grab, you can't always go for all of these super like major game breaking or level breaking skips in like the same capacity. And that'll come up too with like Scam 5 as well, when we go into the haunted house. But yeah, hopefully this convinces you to try this game as well. This game is like super underrated. We're playing on the PC version as well. It was like a multi-platform release for like GameCube, PS2, Xbox, but we're playing on PC for mostly fastest loads, but there's like a couple of various like different, like there's some skips that only work on GameCube, for example, and there's some that don't work on PC. It's weird. It's not too big of a deal though. But yeah, we got a little bit of a boss fight coming up here with Kankerzilla.
Cankerator.
Oh, the
So the
Cankerator,
chunky
sorry.
puffs.
I got my lore incorrect, but
Yeah, I'll say the Cankerator has 2 attacks. Either they will smooch at us or they'll do a ground slam step. I would prefer if they smooch at us because it's easily avoidable. I'm also be doing some AI manip there. Pretty much if you hit them and you just start just jumping left, they'll pretty much just, their AI will just break. They like lose track of you. So we're just going to do that throughout the remainder of the fight. Just so it makes it to where I don't have to worry as much as worrying about which attack they will do. And I could just focus on just hitting these chunky puffs. We'll see. I think we only got 4 more to throw before this game is over.
yeah, typically if you get hit while Ed is holding something, it will cause you to like drop it or make the throw animation cancel early, comma negative.
Oh,
Wow. Did it like bounce off
unlucky.
your head?
It bounced off.
That's funny.
It's also a little bit of shame that like none of the head cheats work during this. Oh, this is a
During
terrible
the scam,
first
yeah.
run. Oh my! I'm getting owned. This is the first time I ever got owned in this. Chunky pups are not being nice. All right, 2 more hits.
Yeah, and then
Not-
once we get past this scam, we kind of have like 3 scams back to back that are like super duper technical. So
It's a very nice chill point of the run. All right, there we go. That's the end of Edzilla.
there we go. All right. Scam 4. So this is like a scam built around this big obstacle course that is like meant to be like make us into like I forget what the name of the rangers are called or something like that. It's like
Yeah, it's for a badge that Rolf wants to give us.
Yeah. But this is like one of the biggest like route differences between all scams and 80%, where normally like from the start here, like we could just kind of start floating to like towards the end of the level, but we need that costume piece, right? And so because of that, we can do some cool strats here and kind of go through like the level kind of like the old-fashioned way as far as the speedrun is concerned. So we're going to be doing a couple of spots where we have to, throw things with Ed here, and we also have to kind of hit some things with Double D. And the cool thing about this level is we're going to see like a lot of different types of wall clips. Like I think we get to do like 3 different types of wall bypasses in the span of like a minute, which I think is really sick. So right here we're going to do a batter red clip. You've seen one of these in the scam before the bonus scam, where Double D's going to just get sent through the wall, and then we will formation to get the rest through. And then the rat is also helpful right there. Something worth noting as well. Oh, I thought you were going to go for that for a second. I'm like,
No.
Are you ridiculous? No.
It's super hard. Yeah, so you can technically batter right over those tight sections that you're intended to tower Eddy, but they're really hard.
Yeah.
Pretty much only the test does it. Also, motion sickness warning / flashing imagery. We'll be doing our first person clip here.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing is using Double D to push Ed here into the wall by repeatedly going into first person mode. This kind of messes with Double D's hitbox to the point where it can kind of stuff Ed through the wall here. It's a little inconsistent because hitboxes can be weird. We're going to give this a couple more tries here, but this skips a really long and annoying mini game.
Alright, Ed, work.
That looks good.
Got through, yeah.
There we go. And then we'll formation to get the rest of the way through. Nice. Alright, well played. And then our little costume pieces here.
Dig a hole,
Dig a hole.
dig a hole, dig a hole.
Now, how did that get there?
Alright, there we go. And then coming up in a little bit, we've got a really cool strat too. There's going to be kind of this more open-ended area with a bunch of fuses that you need to find. But we're going to do a really cool thing called an NPC jump. So when you are not in active control of a character, it will kind of move on its own. And so if it like senses that, if the character senses that it got stuck, it will try to like jump out of the way. So what we're gonna do is like have Eddy jump on top of somebody's head, and then swap off the character to force him to do a jump to get unstuck, which is actually gonna send him over the wall and get us into the chicken chase section here right before we. Oh my god! Good adjust. The batter red is like notoriously tricky to like steer. Also say hi to Victor. Bye,
Hi, Victor. Oh, we gotta race Kevin.
Yeah, and so now we got the Kevin race here. So this is just a pure movement section. If we did that like goat float trick, we already kind of would have went straight into the Victor fight. Hence the name goat float. But now we're just kind of schmoovin' here. So, Jay, you have a moment if you wanted to share us any updates on incentives or maybe what we're raising money for here.
In your dreams.
In your dreams. Yeah, there's like a lot of like legendary little voice lines in
Yeah.
this game. Unfortunately, we're skipping some of the cutscenes as well. There's a legendary one where we call Kevin Shovelchin, which is also the name of the greatest FFZ emote of all time. Shouts to Shovelchin. Alright, Scam 5. So this is the haunted house scam where you're supposed to do a bunch of fetch quests for the cankers to save Jimmy's stuffed animal. But there's a strat you can do that's very difficult where you can actually interact with the sob trap before the cankers kind of like knock you out.
Got it.
And you got it first try. Nice. So that basically skips the entire scam instantly. But remember that this is all scams, so we need to go back and grab that costume piece. That is, I can't express enough how tight of a trick that is, so getting that first try is kind of bonkers. But because this is all scams, we got to do a little bit more here. So we're going to be doing another clip. This time we're going to send Eddie through the floor. So that there's a bunch of like doors and like progression gates that you're supposed to do. But we're going to do another first-person clip to send Eddie through the floor onto some out-of-bounds geometry here. And hopefully if we do this right, we will hit a checkpoint trigger. Nicely done. That's also really difficult too. This takes us right into the room with the costume piece that we can dig up. And then we also take a bit of damage there to cancel the animation. That is maybe one of the best Scam 5s I've ever seen you do live. That was crazy.
Yeah, that's pretty much the best.
I would have been. I hope you have your splits up, 'cause that should have gone.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
Rats.
The run died long ago, probably.
No, that's fair.
To explain a little bit more about that teleport to that room, I did find a consistent setup. It was pretty finicky, but pretty much just imagine a straight line that kind of, but towards like halfway, it goes inwards to the left. If you just go inwards to the left, you'll just always hit the checkpoint. So I found a consistent way for that.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Or on the hardest scam.
So we did another batter egg clip there, and we just sent Johnny into the stratosphere. And then we're going to do a strat here where we don't push it all the way, but we just kind of jump at this map piece. This is kind of like the final major scam, and it's probably the hardest, without a doubt. All the enemies are really evil here, and there's a lot of tricky strats to go for. What Sindark might just be stalling around here, but this is intentional to try to lure some of the enemies into you to damage them, so that when we make our way into this next area, they are out of the way for us, so they won't damage us in future. We mostly want that dog to be out of the way, because the dogs are notorious, and you see we're already at half health, so we do have to be pretty careful here.
This should work.
Yeah, I'll say this is where the GameCube exclusive trick comes in. You're able to trample Ed double D onto a piece of that gate just so you can bring all of them, but it doesn't work on PC. You're able to get double D on the fence, but you can't bring the Eds for a reason. You can't formation on it.
Intriguing.
Yeah, so this level is built around getting a bunch of pieces of a treasure map to find some, like, buried treasure, I believe.
For our Lost Jawbreakers.
For a Lost Jawbreaker, yeah. Yeah, and as you can see right there, we would have been swarmed right there if not for the batter Ed. So the thing we're also doing is, because the like that door right there specifically is an actor and not like a solid wall, you can kind of infinitely batter Ed into it without bonking or risking bonking. And so we're gonna take care of the dog real quick, and we're gonna try to snipe these platforms in advance. Oh, you're going for this? Oh boy, here we go.
Oh, it's too far.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of like slip and so this is what we were talking about, where you can batter Ed over some of the narrow walkways, but it's very risky because if you don't cancel the animation at just the right time, you will just slip off and explode, and not in a cool, like, fun way, unfortunately. So we're gonna disengage from the formation here. Oh, wow. Do you think that was the big head mode that just forced you to, like...
No, that sometimes happens. You gotta be a little bit careful when you're getting off the Tower of Eddy, just because it's mud, and for whatever reason this mud is extra, like, slippery. I don't know what they put in this mud nowadays, or back then. There we go.
And we're gonna do a big snipe shot from over there.
Hopefully that rat does not get in my way. Or... There we go.
That was awesome. Yeah, and so
Alrighty.
we can use the damage there as well to cancel out of the trample egg. We're just looking for like a lot of ways to like animation cancel, and then we're gonna get this really cool egg.
It's actually a jawbreaker. What do you mean? We're gonna
Oh,
give this
right,
to
right, right.
Jimmy.
Sorry, it's a jawbreaker.
It's a jawbreaker for so we can get the map piece from Jimmy. You know.
Totally not conspicuous jawbreaker, right?
Totally not full of evil spiders.
Mmm. Per snaps.
For snaps. You see, look.
Yes,
Yummers.
he's fine. He was really happy about his purchase, and so we're gonna actually use some boxes here to just jump up this ledge. And similar to Scam 3, we only need double D to kind of open up the entrance to the end of this half of the level. So now that we have all the treasure map pieces we need, we just open the door and we make our way into the final gauntlet of Scam 6. So we got one more rematch with Victor here. I don't know why. Oh wait, he has another piece of the treasure map. I forgot.
Yeah,
I forgot my lore. My bad. Say hi, Victor.
He did not want to get sent in the right way. It's gonna take a couple more hits.
Bye, Victor.
Gotta be careful not to rematch him. For whatever reason, you can rematch it for a jawbreaker and more money.
Oh, that's funny. I didn't know. Yeah, so you're just supposed to trample that up there, but there's that little jump strat you can do. The way this section works is every little bit is kind of like a timed section where if you don't get through the next door in time, the cankers curse-explode you. So it turns out the buried treasure was kind of like, you know, like the cake in that one game where it's like a lie.
So
pretty,
true.
Pretty cringe of the cankers to do that to us. So we're gonna go teach him a lesson. And this is also where we're gonna get our last piece of the Triforce, I mean the costume here. Because normally an 80% run would end on this scan. But this is all scams, so we're gonna unlock the bonus scan here with this last piece wherever it decides to go. And then we're going to do a trample leg clip through this one with this last dog right here to get Ed the rest of the way through. And then we're going to die on purpose here so that we can get instant switch over to Eddy so that we can do kind of this tightrope walk. Good, good, good. And so this is just kind of like the major test of like, oh, did you learn how to use all the Ed transformations? Do you know how to push the buttons good? And then we got a fun little Batter Ed section here as well, just for good measure. And then we've got the Kanker fight, which is normally like the final boss of the game, but it's the second to last boss because it's all scams. So the way this fight works is that we need to sort of throw some sort of object with Ed into these targets and then batter Ed them. And that'll do like kind of one phase's worth of damage, and we need to repeat that 3 more times, and that'll be kind of the end there. We're gonna throw a stink bomb right there in order to stun that squirrel. A squirrel is just as powerful as a trash bin for taking out these fortifications.
I'm too young.
What? Where did that go? There's like bounced off of something.
That was incredible. By incredible, I mean incredibly rude.
I need a man.
I forgot about that line. That's awesome.
Alright, that's the Kanker.
Alright, and that's the Kankers fight. That's Scam 6. So normally that's when you'd roll credits, but we have one more scan that we gotta do. I believe it's
Get
a
your
space
spacesuits, everyone. Yeah, everyone get your spacesuits ready. We're going to Rebel Robot Ranch. And to explain a little bit before we start this level, Ed's dead. He died in the cutscene, so
Yeah, he died in the war.
He died in the Rebel. Yeah, it wasn't your fault. But this is actually the only level to where Eddy kind of comes in clutch. His yo-yo just has a really big hitbox, and his stink bombs are really useful in this level to deal with the enemies. Since we're pretty much going to just be switching off Eddy and Ed to or double D in for switches.
Exactly. So, kind of weirdly enough, similar to Sonic Heroes, there's like a set, like, sort of switch order. Or actually, I think Sonic Heroes lets you switch in any order. But in this game, there's like a set switch order, which matters a lot more with the 3 Eds. But with the 2, we're going to be kind of using sort of the switch order here and setting ourselves up for success. So that when we switch over, the other Ed is in a better spot to kind of like walk around. And in this scan specifically, instead of stink bombs, we have EMPs, which have just better range and just deal like a ton of damage. So We go kablooey. It's gonna stun the enemies here
Intriguing.
pretty substantially, and then yeah, we're just trying to avoid combat as much as possible here. So we have a couple of more swapping strats here, but we're just gonna be kind of chilling for a bit until you know, we're just trying to find our fallen comrade Ed so that we can give him a proper Viking funeral, I suppose.
My.
But I guess, yeah, Jay, if you had anything you wanted to share with us, this is probably the last time we've got before the end of the run, actually.
Yeah, for sure. We have lots of exciting runs coming up here on the schedule. The next run actually is a Sword of the Sea run, NG plus NMG race between Redman and Wilburn. So be sure to get excited for that. That's coming up right after this Eden and Eddy The Misadventures run.
Alright, so it turns out that we kind of lied.
This should work.
Ed didn't really die, he just got thrown in the gamer dimension for gamers. So now we get him back for a little bit to batter Ed through this last little section right here. Luckily the enemies didn't bother us too much here. Yeah, Double D also just gets a lightsaber now, which is awesome.
My. Intriguing.
All right, one more switch before we're on to the actual final boss. Okay, you got stuck behind the toxic there. This will be pretty much the second to last batter head of the run. So if you miss this music, I'm sorry. This turret could be a little bit nasty because even through like 1 pixel gaps, it will find a way to shoot Double D, but
Yeah.
fine there. See if we get good RNG for this final boss fight, because there's a attack that the robot can do, and we kind of want that certain attack, because we'll do a bunch of damage. Nice. We got it.
Yeah, so this boss does a lot of damage, but we can kind of stun lock him, and with our little ray gun here, we can kind of just chill here. He has ridiculous iframes, by the way. That's a little disrespectful. But we're just gonna chill here and just kind of cheese him. So
Yeah, say time is coming up very soon.
time will be on the final hit, I believe, or is it? Scam?
Yeah, once it says scam completed. You distracted me. I was losing count of the animations because you just watch him move twice, and then when he stops moving, you can shoot. That's when his iframes end. That's how much time I have like bothered spending just shooting him. All right, and that's time.
All right, and that's it. That's all scams. Great job, Sindark.
Wow,
That was a low
low
31.
31. Yeah, that was almost a 30.
Yeah, that was a great run. Thanks for running. Congrats on the run, and thanks for commentating, Jaxler. You did a great job.
Yeah, of course. Huge shout outs to all the other people who have ran and worked on this game in the past, like Konosumi. I don't know why I'm blanking on everyone's names right now. Maybe Sindark. you can say them here.
Sporter Games, Carter Kirby,
Carter Kirby,
all
that was
cool
the one I was
people.
Yeah. Sindark, where can people find you if they want to see more?
If you want to find me,
gaming?
if they want to send me jawbreakers, you can find me at twitch.tv/sindarkfatez and youtube.com/@sindarkfatez. Jaxer, where can these people find you?
Yeah, you can find me at twitch.tv/Jaxler1. Thank you to Binary Breakers for accepting this run and letting us show off the Ed Boys.
Yeah, congrats on the run.
That'll be it from us. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Okay, be sure to stay tuned be sure to keep watching Binary Breakers. Hope for the holidays for more awesome speedrunning. And we actually have an open a bunch of different name bid wars for Kabuto Park. One of which is you can name the second bug friend in the game. The options are Jiminy Cricket, Thick, Barry B. Benson, or Earthworm Jim. Those are the options for the second bug friend we're going to see in the game. But yeah, be sure to stay tuned and watch more Binary Breakers for the holidays, and we'll be back in just a minute.